What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. I'm going to have some Lost Ark shit in the background as always to satisfy your eyeballs and your zoomer brains. Either or, maybe both. But the content of today's video is just going to be sort of a... I usually get asked a lot of questions about me and myself, and I know I haven't necessarily put them in a precise or a concise location, answering questions about me. So I figured I'd make a video with sort of some more personal things about me, just so you can get to know me a little bit more. As whenever I stream, people usually get to ask these more like sort of niche personal questions, and I don't mind answering them, but I know a lot of people want to know, so I figure what better time to make a video than right now. So if you're not interested in that, no worries, go ahead and skip this video, and I'll see you for the next one that you're interested in. But for those of you who are interested in the video, well, hello. Believe it or not, if you couldn't guess my name, it is actually Chris. Yes, amazing. Crazy coincidence. Christopher to be exact, which is... again, the name of my soul fist. You'll never believe the coincidences here. I am, now, I'll give you a second to guess. Do you think I'm above or below the age of 20? And then following that question up, do you think I'm above or below the age of 30? I'll give you a second here, because this has got to be a little fun interactive game. Smash it down in the comments. Fuck it, why not? We'll make it interactive. Let's go. I'll tell you right now, I am the ripe old age of 28. I'm fucking ancient, basically, on the ground. So, no surprise if you guessed a little bit older than I should be, because I am old as fuck. Now, another question I get asked a lot, aside from, is Chris my real name, and how old am I, is, where do I live? Believe it or not, I do live on the west coast of the United States. And I live in... wait for it. Wait for it. I live in Washington State. Amazing. Sorry, I was taking a sip of water there. That good old H2O. Washington State. A lot of people, whenever they hear West Coast, they immediately think California. No worries. I totally get why, but no, I live in Washington. Very epic. Wow. Now, a lot of people ask me, Brother Chris, you play this game a lot. What do you do? You know, like, I know what you do. You play Lost Ark, but, like, what do you do? And to that, I say, I don't really do anything right now. Well, anything that somebody would consider, like, normal, at least. I did used to have many regular, normal human jobs. I guess I was gonna say long story short, but I figure I might as well give you the long story since this is this kind of video. Basically, pretty miserable, working miserable regular jobs. I never got into any sort of college education or further learning. I have high school equivalent and just kind of chilled with that. Worked a couple retail jobs. And the last job that I was working at, like a proper job, was at a bank. Didn't mind the bank all too much, but it's not my favorite thing to do in the world. And going into COVID just ended up making it more and more stressful dealing with people, because believe it or not, I'm not really that big of a people's person. I much quite like to keep to myself and sort of my own devices. I'm happiest when I'm kind of doing my own thing and not surrounded by people and talking to people, etc., etc. That may seem completely ass backwards from what I'm doing here on YouTube, but I don't know. I'm just a very sort of to myself person. I'm not a huge people's person. That's not to say that I can't, you know, interact with people on like a good level or whatever. Like, I'm not some antisocial fucking nerd. When I do interact with people, I'm perfectly fine. Has nothing to do with that. As I'm sure you may or may not have guessed, I can be a people's person if needed, I think is the word I'm looking for. But it's not what I prefer. It doesn't give me joy. It doesn't... it just doesn't do it for me. And it requires more energy than anything else. So that mixed with working at a bank in the middle of COVID, knowing how people can be, and knowing how people are, it's just the stressors were like stacking up and up and up. So I ended up quitting. Well, I ended up going on extended leave because of my mental health, because it was in the fucking shitter. And I took some time off. I ended up getting off of disability, and then ended up having to leave the company because I just... After I was forced to make the decision to either come back or quit when the end of my leave was up, I just couldn't see myself going back to that. I actively dreaded it, and I knew there was no reasonable way I could go back. So I didn't. And then, throughout this entire time, you know, I've been playing Lost Ark. Like, it's not like I just started Lost Ark because of this or whatever. You know, Lost Ark had always been a game I was playing. And I always wanted to make content for Lost Ark because... I don't know, I've always wanted to make content for games. I just never have really sat down and sort of made a concerted effort to do it. You know, whatever game I've been playing, Smite, fuck, what other games have I played for a significant amount of time? Wow, basically any game I've ever played, I've been like, man, I wish I was making content for this game. Because I'm typically like... I try hard at most games, even if I don't necessarily reflect that. I'm not sure the word I'm looking for here, but hopefully you understand what I mean. And I usually am pretty good at most video games when I play. I would hope so, considering I've devoted a lot of time to it throughout my life, as it's been like my main go-to hobby. But I've always wanted to make content, and I wanted to make content for Lost Ark since its release. Like, that was actually what I was planning to do. But I had a really... Well, I've always... So let's back up a little bit. I've always suffered from a mild form of depression. Obviously, it's doctor diagnosed. I'm not just kind of shitting that up my asshole. But it got really worse around the time Lost Ark came out. Obviously, COVID and all that, and then my job stuff. I just wasn't in a good place. So I barely wanted to even play this game. And I think one of my close friends who didn't force me to play it, but I said I would play with him, so I kind of felt like I had to play with him. And I mean, they don't even play anymore, unfortunately. I wish they did, and I keep trying to get them to play again, but they have other things they'd rather do, which is fair enough. I miss them, though, but this person I ended up playing with, despite the fact that I was in a really bad spot and I didn't really want to do anything. I just wanted to lay in bed all day. But I'm glad I did, because having a routine of something that I looked forward to doing, even if it wasn't something I would readily admit that I looked forward to doing, is positive. And having that thing to do, very good. The reason why it took me almost a full year to start making content, again, is because I was still in a really bad spot mentally, and I still am. It's not like I'm XD cured. I have some good days, I have bad days. That is all to say, I'm currently not working a proper job. I did end up taking care of a sick family member. I don't want to divulge too much information, but I ended up sort of taking in a role where I could do sort of house cleaning things and just try to help them a little bit as much as I could. So I kind of took over like house, not necessarily a housekeeper role, but just trying to help as much as I can in sort of that family member situation. And that's what I've been doing. I still technically do it, but I do it to a much less degree now since I'm very heavily focused on YouTube. I don't deep clean the house as much as probably I should, stuff like that. But I've been putting most of my active energy into YouTube and creating content. And obviously that's been my main focus now for, I was going to say the last couple months, but I guess it's been about half a year now. So I think that's about the extent of this video. I think I'll wrap it up there. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything else you specifically would like to know about me. I typically don't mind sharing details. It's not something that I necessarily look forward to sharing, but I don't mind getting it out there at least once, so if people really want to know, they can find the information if they really want to. That being said, I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. So, thank you all so much for watching. Those that did stick around and cared to watch this kind of video, thank you. And let me do my classic YouTube member shoutouts. We're going to keep doing these because I need to give my YouTube members a little bit extra reason to, you know, support me. Thank you all to my tier 2 YouTube members, Blitzel, Remix My Life, and I'm Nufu. And then all of my tier 1 members, It's Biscuits, Ender, Diz, Erazyke, Clouded, Dangerous, and Joxini. Thank you guys all so much for supporting me that little extra bit. And if you want to also get added to this list of wonderful individuals, consider becoming a YouTube member. It's like a Twitch or Patreon sub. I think the lowest tier costs you something like $3 a month. Not too much, but that not too much means a lot to me. And I promise you it goes to something good, i.e. me and my bills and living. Because we're trying to make this full-time, I promise. We're trying our best. Love making content for you guys, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, leave a comment down below. See you all. Subscribe. Bye.